So with Asta now beginning the tournament, and the fact that he's got some kind of motherfucker there already planning some nefarious shit, I think it's safe to say and all that Asta, at least if anything, is going to have one of the more biggest problems with the tournament, especially already being begun and having shots fired at him, getting sniper fire. I wish I could joke, the guy's getting sniper fire right as he gets into the battlefield, right there, and it's like, oh, this is just great. Oh, and oh, my other teammate, this Zack's motherfucker, which, trust me, you know, everyone here, it's like, he's got his own agenda to begin with. He's just like, oh my god, I'm just gonna nap here, I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm like, yeah, Asta, I feel bad for you, but yeah, you gotta deal with this shit. But let's talk about the chapter straight away. I love the way that you're gonna start off the chapter with like Zack. He's like, I'm just bullshitting my way. You see, there was a little like old lady on the road. You see, you know, I was taking care of these, like patting like Julius on the back, and like Julius in his own way is just like, oh yeah, is she alright and all that? And he's like, oh yeah, she's doing great and all that. Gave me fucking sweets while I was on the way here. And it's just like everyone's like, who the fuck is this? And at least it kind of like, with the way they're describing it is like with this guy that's talking about this purple orc like it's like, oh well, he always does work around the border. Because I was gonna say, if this is just someone that nobody, like if anything is like, oh yeah, that random motherfucker, they're like, well, he's out of the border all the time and we never really get to see him, and that's why. And it's like, oh, I've never heard him being like this before. It's like, yeah, I think you might want to do a background check. If someone starts like coming uninterrupted and starts acting this way. And even as well with like, you know, how Ascension is like, you are a piece of shit and all that, and saying you're like, because immediately like his advisor just comes out and tries to blast this guy. It's like, get it off him, you fool, like immediately. And it's like, no, like, and even Julius knows what the hell is going on, because immediately he's just like, as his whole agenda, and he's like, he's trying to pretend to be nice. Everyone's like, hey, look, we're on the same team, Master, let's go away. And then he just ends up giving him like this stink bug on his fucking hand. He's like, ah, you piece of shit, enjoy that. Like, Julius knows already, like, what this guy's deal is. He's, like, smirking there in the corner, and, like, his whole thing is just, like, you've been chosen for the Royal Knight exams, how can you be like that? And it's just, like, I didn't come here for anything special. I just came here to make fools out of you all. So, clearly, like, we've already know that he isn't part of the, like, any of the knights at all. Like, he doesn't seem to be in any of the selections. Like, maybe he's just this very well-adept person that, like, maybe, you know, he has no reason for trusting knights, and he's coming here to, like, sabotage them and show them, like, what pieces of shit they are. Like, we still don't know what his whole deal is at the moment. Like, whether or not, like, you know, like, he's, like, actually part of the kingdom, whether or not he's from, like, another country, like, if he's part from, like, you know, spy or something. I honestly doubt that he's part of the White Knight Ice like demons, so I honestly don't think that's going to be the whole case with them. But the fact that he's already been thrown into this, and this guy's already trying to throw as much shit as possible, and it's like, I ain't going to be dealing with this, like, fuck you, you piece of shit. And like, all he does immediately at the start of the tournament is just go sleeping. Oh, well, I guess people are attacking us. Guess I'm going to catch a couple of minutes of sleep like that. Like, I mean, gotta appreciate you gotta try and get some sleep under literal sniper fire. Like, you got these giant fire javelins shooting down at you. Nah, that's fine. I just had a wink right next to the crystal. Like, come on, mother, get your ass off like that. Ain't no time for this shit. And then as well, another thing with this chapter as well, which I was surprised that we wasn't seeing a lot of the characters. It honestly seemed like, even though it was like kind of like a whole free pairing thing, a lot of the characters that they were having was like, oh, we're gonna have two of the characters, but they're gonna be paired up with like a bunch of like irrelevant motherfuckers as well. So like, with one of the main pairs as well, like, we found out that Noel and, like, Yuno are going to be a pair, like, and, like, his whole reaction is just like, oh, it's just that noisy bitch that's just, like, with Asta all the time. And then, as well, we got, like, we got Magna, he's going to be with, like, with Yami's girl, like her little assistant thing. I think her name was, like, Sol. Like, honestly, she hasn't done too much so far and all that. And they're already clashing, like, I kind of like that Leo, he's teaming up with Finral, which is a weird, like, pair. I think he's, like, with some other guy as well. Like, I think he's supposed to be a captain or someone. Like, he's either a captain or he's just, like, a high-ranking member and all that. Like, I don't really remember, like, Jean, like, at all and all that, so don't know too much of that. We got also as well Klaus and Locke teaming up. I was like, that's a weird combination. And then then after that as well, we got Solid as well teaming up with, I think he's, like, part of the Unosphere. I think he's, like, one of that jealous motherfucker. Like, he was that one that was like, oh, because he's like one of the best ranking people that we had, and he was like probably one of the best since before Yuno joined. I honestly don't know too much about his deal. So hey, maybe we're gonna see some people, and the fact that, you know, like, it will not, like as well as they were describing and all that, saying, you know, like, the battle stages are going to be divided into areas, and, like, you know, tournaments, like, you know, we choose by drawing the lots and all that, see where we're going to be going, and especially with how they're talking about with the first rounds and how, like, who's going to be, like, set up and everything like that. Like, it seems like it's going to be multiple rounds. It isn't just going to be the crystals itself. Whether or not what they do is, like, they try and make the area smaller, what they're going to try and do at the moment, as they're, like, you know, but the more you have more chances to win and all that, and you have chances to show your abilities and all that. Winning and losing in this battle will not directly affect the exam results. So even if people lose already in this first area, this first exam, that doesn't mean they're going to lose the full tournament. So, if anything, the best way to describe it is that it's going to be their own version of, like, the Grand Magic Games, if anything. Whereas, like, here you go, like, here's multiple events that we're going to be having, and then the first one happens to be the crystal one. Maybe one's going to be a one-on-one. Like, the first one seemingly is going to be showing on their teamwork, their defense, and offense. This is going to be, like, the main things they're going to be saying. Can they work as a unit at all? We'll have to wait and see. And the fact that, like, they're going to be getting already into this, because, like, Mimosa, like, same thing with, like what they were talking about with her, like, a couple of chapters ago, where it was, like, she's actually been learning, like, new magic and stuff. Like, she actually been learning other things. It's, like, you get to see her immediately using her powers to work. Like, she's using, like, her, like, blinds and all that as, like, a defense mechanism. It's, like, I've got to try and use this to protect, like, the whole thing we've got. And they're like, oh, hey, you know, Zax, what's your whole deal then? Like, you know, what can you do? Because I can do, like whole, like, just plant magic. Like, Asta's a big close range fighter, and, like, what's your deal? Like, we want to know what the hell that is. And it's like, these guys just going in straight in because, like, oh yeah, this is what you get for disrespecting, like, the magic era. It's like, fuck out of here and all that. You got, like, pompous pieces of shit, like, try something. It's like, nah, you're not gonna, like, you're not gonna do anything. And I do think that's kind of interesting, the fact that, like, guys, even though they're relevant mass motherfuckers, the whole thing is that we're actually using like all our magics combined. So they made, like, a giant ballista where they just, like, used their stone magic to make this giant ass, like, ballista, and then he used the arrows to fuel it up. And it's like, we're gonna use this up, and, like, the other guy is, like, he's actually putting at the coordinates using, like, his magic as well, whereas, like, I'm gonna make crystal scopes, and this is what you're gonna do. So whether or not, like, if anything and all that, like, if this guy's just gonna, like, one-shot these guys and get the fuck out of there, that's what I feel like they're gonna do. Like, this guy's just gonna do anything. If not, it's gonna be up to, like, Mimosa and, like, Asta, where it's like, hey, Mimosa, you're gonna have to try and protect this, or, like, Asta's, like, gonna have to, like, reflect about, like, something back, where, if anything, like, he'll be able to pinpoint, if he knows how to, like, master that ability now, this demon mode, then, like, if anything, he'll be able to pinpoint the magic and just be able to go there. The only issue here seems like, especially with Asta, is like, one, he's panicking right now because all of this shit is happening, and two, as well, like, he's gonna have to worry about defense, because that's the problem. Asta's not a defense guy at all. Like, I mean, the whole entire dude's deal is that he wields two swords. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone, like, especially as well, like, we're going with another character. Let's take Zora, for example, from One Piece. Like, Zora is a pure fuel, like, offensive fighter. Like, he does not have, like, defense techniques. The most defensive thing that he has is his arm and haki, and that's, like, a lot of the Straw Hats have that. And that's the thing, like, Asta as well, he doesn't have that kind of ability. Like, the most he can use is just use his blades as, like, defense mechanisms. That's, like, the only thing he can just guard with them, but that's all that he can really do. And whether or not he's going to have anything more in the future, I still think there might be something more to the blades, whether or not we're going to be getting, like, a new form of them, whether or not we're going to blade, whether or not they can change forms. I would love to know if that can be anything and all that. I think, if anything, we could see a potential, like, them being reforged, or them being into, like, new weapons, like that, transforming something. I would like to see that, but whether or not we'll be seeing that more in the future, have to wait and see. But so far, the chapter, I wasn't too thoroughly impressed. We found out who we're, like, being teamed up with. I was kind of surprised some of the other characters are kind of just being shelled off at the moment. It's like, here's Magna, here's a bunch of... I thought a lot of it was just go, like, here's all these characters, go. And I'm kind of happy that at least this isn't the only thing that we're going to be happening, but it's kind of slow chapter, to be fair, and all that. And, like, whether or not, like, if anything, it's like, it's not that intense at the moment, but because it's, like, it's a bunch of relevant motherfuckers. We know Ass is going to deal with them, and the same thing is, like, we want to know more about this guy, but he's clearly just trying to lead them right through a loop, and we just know full well that he has a huge vendetta, and he just doesn't care at the moment. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, what you thought about the chapter. That's all for me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.